Another Marvel show? If you hear those words nowadays, you're probably gonna groan. Again? Really? Another cookie-cutter spin-off show that does nothing but set up future characters and bring back old ones for nostalgia? Yeah, that was pretty much my reaction too. That was until I noticed Wonder Man. Like, what is this? Did they forget the graphic design team? Just 2 words in Times New Roman. From there, no other info about this show came across my plate for almost a year. Flash forward to, well, this week. What? That's me. I'm sorry, what is happening? I'm narrating now? Okay. This is a little trippy. Sorry, anyways. There I sat, reading understanding movies? Are you kidding me? I don't read that shit. I look so pretentious. Okay, anyways, I sat there reading and noticed something. There, on my phone, which I was obviously not scrolling on, was a snippet from the Wonder Man trailer. What? You're telling me they're making a Marvel show about the movie industry? 2 aspiring actors try to get a role. This is what I'm talking about, Marvel. Something so different than before. An original idea that won't get lost in all this superhero nonsense. Now, all I have to do is sit back and enjoy it. And you won't get to see it for another week. Haha. 1 sec.
They're gonna put me in the movies.
I'm not sure. My watch through of Wonder Man was one with a lot of surprises. Many positive surprises, many negative ones. But that's as vague as I'll get. Spoiler warning here, we're about to get into it. Episode 1 was a pretty perfect pilot. We see the idea of Wonder Man portrayed with the old Wonder Man movie. This is just fun getting to see anything that looks like it's shot on Super 8. But a cheesy superhero scene at the start of what will end up being a pretty grounded character study, that's a perfect contrast. In episode 1, we also get introduced to all of our major characters. The only ones that matter being Trevor and Simon. And I guess this girlfriend matters. Or at least I thought she did in episode 1. You never let me in, says the girl who's active. The only thing we know about her is she's secretly leaving him with an entire moving company while he's at work. I don't know. She seems like the one keeping secrets, personally. Yeah, don't get too attached to her, Gio. She'll be in like one more scene for the entire season. Simon is the guy who takes up most of the screen time, and his first scene is... well, it's rough. One of the common tropes this show has is feeling like the showrunners had a bone to pick with certain aspects of production. This time, it's the small part being acted by someone who wants to do a lot with it. Basically, this director tries to get Simon to do a simple death scene, but Simon has his own notes, and more notes. The guy has read into the script subtext too far, creating a whole story for his character with no basis. You can see how much this would suck to work with. But what's weird is this is Simon's very first scene. The intro to our protagonist is setting him up as unlikable? That's an odd choice for your main character. At least the other main one is likable. Trevor Slattery is back after his stunt as the fake Mandarin. And then I think he was in like Shang-Chi as well. Overall though, his character is just comical. This eccentric, struggling actor with a dark past has some layers to him too though. Trevor gives us some of the best dialogue in the show, episode after episode.
The purpose of playing is to hold us to the mirror up to nature.
After some of this great dialogue in episode 1, Simon is set up as a potential threat, with a phone call to Trevor showing off how dangerous he is. This left the show at a good launching point for me. Episode 2 had a lot of originality to it. This episode gives us more Trevor focus, as we get the backstory of the Mandarin, and details just what the goal is for Trevor. He needs to get proof that Simon is a superhero so the Department of Damage Control can take him in. Those are some fun stakes. This episode for me though is where that classic Marvel comedy starts to come out. And honestly, it's great. We get some laughs with the second bone to pick scene, Simon struggling to use a tape room. Then there's that classic character setup. Our protagonist needs help from someone. And luckily, Trevor knows just the guy we need to talk to. Any other Marvel show would use this moment to bring in a relevant superhero character. But Wonder Man? It brings in Joe Pantoliano. Yep, Joe playing a Larry David-esque version of himself. This stuff had me rolling. Joe Pantoliano? Holy sh**. This is great. Joe Pantoliano playing himself? Are you kidding me? This is fantastic. When they mentioned him earlier, I thought they just wrote him off as somebody who can never be a Marvel actor, but he is a Marvel actor as himself. My expectations had been successfully subverted in episode 2. Now I was really enjoying myself. Episode 3 comes along, and we're probably far enough into this where I should explain the stakes. Simon wants to be casted as Wonder Man since there's a new movie getting made. That's it. That's all the stakes, really. Obviously, there's the whole DOD trying to capture Simon thing, but that's very much secondary to the Wonder Man role. In this episode, the secondary is pushed to the front as Trevor wears a wire for Simon's family event. Some great scenes happen here. What did she just say? What did she just do? This whole episode is just fun to watch, but messy. There's already a lot of problems with the Department of Damage Control's logic and luckiness thus far, but in this episode it reaches a crux. We spend time seeing the department's budget problems, which are boring. Then we see how Stewie from Succession is doing after leaving Sandy. He's got a job with the government now, and this dude is the worst government agent ever. He uses a mic that doesn't even record live, which in turn causes Trevor to break it after getting a ton of good sound bites.
You know I'll never work again if anyone found out.
Non-live mics have not been commonly used in the government since 1990, probably because of stuff like this. So what are you doing here, Stewie? This whole episode I thought there was risk in every line these people were saying, when really Trevor was always going to have the last laugh. But I digress. Episode 4. Can you believe we're there at episode 4 right now? Like, nothing has happened in this show. Episode 4 is where the show is going to make or break for me. You could tell. At this point, going to the halfway mark, I was worried. We haven't really had much happen to Simon. We haven't set up a clear villain. We've barely progressed past any story beats. Now would be the perfect time for a big shift. And it was.
Oh yeah, look who's in the house.
Holy it's Olaf. Josh, yeah, what?
Buzz, here's a blue dandelion fuzz, and I'll be doing
Oh no, I forget they can do this. They're Disney, they can do this.
10 years for this, and now we've only got 30 seconds to grab.
Okay, making sure I follow here. I'm currently watching a show that has a movie inside of it. There's also making a movie inside that movie.
Ding dong, motherfucker.
What is happening? What is going on right now, dude? What am I watching? This is the whole episode. Yeah, so I guess I enjoyed my experience. But if you're confused how Wonder Man turned into that for a full episode, I'm right there with you. They literally did this whole doorman / Josh Gad story to explain something they already explained. Let me explain. What I thought was a movie within a TV show was actually a piece of history. The story of why superheroes can't act anymore. Now, you might be wondering why we needed a whole episode to explain that, rather than, say, a line of dialogue. And that's the thing, because there is dialogue stating this fact.
You know I'll never work again if anyone found out.
2 pieces of dialogue, actually.
Assuming, of course, you don't have superpowers.
So again, why? Why do we need a whole episode explaining this? Y'all already did. It's at this point that I think Wonder Man starts to lose the script. Episode 5 is another full-blown filler episode. The story still hasn't progressed past knowing our characters better, yet we get a full side quest to go steal back some footage. This episode is fully disconnected from the rest of the show, even more so than 4, honestly. All they do is go to a random candy dealer's house until Trevor and Simon get a call back. At least I can laugh a bit.
I feel like Stevie Nicks having blown up a bunghole.
Jesus Christ, bro. This is all hilarious, but it's such a waste of time. Episode 6 almost got me back on board. Or maybe it was because I just got my stomach filled. I can wholeheartedly guarantee that this meal is going to be so much better than this episode. Like, no matter how good it is. Look at this. As I munch, we get this really cool audition scene with some of the highlights for the entire show. First, a scene straight out of The Boys with Simon punching through the guy's head.
Always will be.
Whoa! Don't worry, Gio, it's just a dream. And thank God it was, because it set up this scene. Trevor calls back to his great dialogue in episode 1, talking about how acting is holding a mirror to nature. They create this moment while looking over Hollywood of just true sincerity. The talk about what it means to be yourself is a bright light in the middle of a lot of bad. Hell, that's really just the best way to describe this whole episode. Yeah, can't do better than that. Episode 7 returns back to what I thought was forgotten form. We're back on set, and Simon is now Brad Pitt or something. Playing Wonder Man, his life is complete, if they can get his glasses right. This episode reminds me of what I liked about this show in the first place. being a show about movies. I was happy to get back to the Warner Brothers lot, or whatever this is, but we stay off set for the most part. The story for this episode is an interviewer going to see Simon that he's really, really worried about. It's that whole Harry Potter scene for just 45 minutes.
Scratch that last.
This reporter is what ends up getting Simon to literally explode, something I feel like should have happened around episode 5, but in the end, we got there for our finale. Now it's gonna turn into a full superhero show, and I'm down for it. It's about time. Boy, I wish I was right. Episode 8 doesn't turn into a superhero story at all because Trevor confesses to blowing up the soundstage, in turn taking the blame for Simon. Now, the Department of Damage Control apparently doesn't care about all the evidence they have on Simon, or the motives behind the Mandarin's attack making no sense. They just take the Mandarin in and let Simon go. Not sure why we did that. I guess we didn't want this to turn into a superhero show after all. In that true superhero show fashion though, we do get to see Simon put on the suit, and then we see him complete his journey as Wonder Man on the big screen across from Barnaby. Yes! That's so funny. Oh, it's gonna torture Trevor. Yeah, there's some stuff I liked in this episode. At the very, very end, the show really surprised me because it does turn into a superhero show. After deciding not to go there, we see full power Simon saving Trevor. And after seeing this, I'm like, we only got to see Wonder Man full power for like a minute at the very end? I'm actually needing more now. I would have liked to see, I'm realizing I didn't even understand his powers. If you want a Hollywood show, do that. If you want a superhero show, do that. Don't give us a taste of both where not a single side feels complete. After watching through the whole show, that is my main takeaway. I think Wonder Man completely misunderstood what it wants to be. Does it want to be a show about movies with a dash of heroism? Then don't disregard the lot storylines from multiple episodes. Does it want to be a superhero show with a dash of movie magic? Then don't spend so much time building up Wonder Man's powers. Or at least don't end on showing us them. The balancing act that this show should have been seems to not even be attempted. And there is good in this show too. Sadly, all those flashes of true merit will be forgotten behind the layers of crap. At least this doesn't feel like a complete setup show. I don't know this superhero at all. Hello, old Geo, can I narrate for you again? Ah, yes, reading... Now, what is that? Reading the dictionary. Okay, even better. Let me save you some time, buddy. First, you don't have to read to look smart. And you don't have to watch Wonder Man. And with that, thank you, Anne. Specifically you, Anne. And of course, to everyone else who watched this one, thank you. And an even bigger thank you going out to anyone who is currently a channel member. We just launched members last week, and I'm very, very excited. You can click the join button if you want to learn more about that and potentially sign up as a production assistant, director, or producer. But the members that are in here right now, I'm very fond of you guys. Good job. Two quick things. I do want to shout out the Fresh Out the Film podcast, which is me and my sister's podcast. Feel free to check that out, as well as our public email list that we just launched. It's kind of a newsletter where you can keep up with me a lot more. Both those links are going to be in the description. But yeah, I think we're done here. So, deuces.